Good morning. It is Thursday, April the 14th. I'm Shane Seeley, and this is the CBC Morning Report. Repairs at the Bell Pumping Station, we're focusing on what is happening there right now. Those repairs will hopefully be completed by tonight. That's the expectation from the Barbados Water Authority, with no more major delays. Work scheduled to end and water return to taps relatively soon. That's what will be happening over the next 24 hours. Let's talk to the General Manager of the Barbados Water Authority, Keith Roy Halliday, who's back with us to give us an update about these emergency works as they continue. Good to have you back on the program, Keith Roy. You've spent the whole week with us.
Thank you. Good morning, Shane. Good morning.
And the emergency works continue without any further ado as we look at what has been happening with those works. Any more delays expected? And if not, are we on schedule to complete those works by tonight as predicted?
The situation for us has always been very fluid. So while we're optimistic that we'll be finished sometime tonight, just keeping our fingers crossed, my attitude for now is let's just wait and see how the days go, simply because we're not sure how things may develop during the day. But we're very optimistic that we should be able to finish quite shortly. In the meantime, we are at normal pumping capacity. The guys made a valiant effort yesterday to make sure that the three pumps that needed to be addressed were at least attended to. And the cabling last night, which took a little while, was finally installed with one final adjustment to be made this morning. So work will resume this morning at 9. We'll continue to have normal pumping capacity. We may have to disconnect for about an hour for safety reasons, but that interruption will not affect the flow too considerably. So we'll continue to charge the system throughout the day at 9 million gallons a day and up to tonight. The aim really is once we finish the other side, we should be able to push our maximum production of about 13 into the system, possibly from 24 hours up to 48 hours, or as long as we think we can sensibly and safely sustain that production, and then the weekend will continue to run as normal. Of course, we do not want to interrupt the Easter weekend, and that is why we have sort of pushed a little hard over the last day to make sure that we can maximize the production capacity as well.
So, what can customers expect come Friday when the Easter weekend really commences?
We would have been charging the system all night. We'll continue to charge the system all day, and then it'll be charged all night tonight as well. Any interruptions will be will be maybe for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And if we have to do that, then we'll let everyone know. We will not do it to the extent, or certainly not too late, where it would affect the holiday weekend. But from tomorrow, we should start seeing the lines full from tonight, from today, really. We should start seeing the lines more and more recharged. In fact, we expect to see a lot less outages this morning than would have occurred yesterday, simply because we've been topping up all night, and that will continue throughout the day and continue tonight. Now, as we have always said, it takes a while to charge the system, and based on the demand of other, taking a number of other measures. We certainly want to do some swabbing of the lines, some flushing of the mains in various areas to enhance that. And we're going to continue our aggressive pursuit of changing out the mains. This also has to happen simultaneously with the completion of the, of the construction of the desalination plant. So we're keeping our eyes and efforts closely, very much so, on the St. Lucie operation. Now, what has afforded us the extra opportunity recently, which is why each time you look at the levels, whether it's in Half Acre, Lamberts, Allendale, those reservoirs are almost stocked up continuously, is because we've been able to produce some more water from one of our wells in St. Joseph, near St. Joseph Hospital, excuse me, that has been resting for a period of time. But we know we're coming to a point where we're not going to be able to do that as much or as long, and therefore we are trying to take advantage of that opportunity to clean as many lines as we can, to scrub or to swab, and we're optimistic that we will be able to continue to maintain a certain flow for just a little bit longer.
Well, Keith Roy, thank you for the update there about what is happening in St. Lucie, but more importantly, for the 30,000 customers plus served from the Bell pumping station. Some good news for them, as they can expect some normalcy in the next 24 to 36 hours. We'll continue to monitor it, and you and your crews, we really thank you for your service. Continue the good work, and until next time, you stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you, Shane.
Appreciate your time. Keith Roy Halliday is the General Manager of the Barbados Water Authority, as they've been working on the fix at the Bell pumping station. We'll take a break here. We have COVID-19 updates coming your way, and we will look at the situation as it stands right now in the Ukraine. Barbados has registered 389 new positive cases of COVID-19. Yesterday's numbers, as recorded by the Best Dos Santos Public Health Lab, showed 175 males and 214 females from 1,264 tests conducted. In other statistics, there were 88 youngsters, 88 people really, in isolation facilities, while 2,568 people were in home isolation. However, 2 women, ages 80 and 86, died from the virus yesterday. They were both unvaccinated. As at April 12th, the number of COVID-19 related deaths stood at 381. The Ministry of Education over in the Bahamas is still working on ways to address the learning gap exposed by the COVID-19 pandemic. This after a survey revealed why so many students weren't showing up for online classes. We have a report from Our News.
Following a survey to determine why some public school students were absent during online classes, Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin says the plan is to implement strategies to address learning gaps. Hannah Martin did not detail what those strategies are. She did, however, say the plan is to roll out several policies by fall.
We have a strategy, and it's unfolding during the summer months, and we hope that by September we will be able to implement a number of strategies. This has been a very difficult time, and it's not normal times, and these are extraordinary times. And so the Ministry of Education and the government must respond in extraordinary fashion.
The survey showed that roughly half of the 499 households questioned said at least one child in the home did not attend online classes. It also revealed that 363 children represented in the survey did not use the learning management system. Of that total, more students in preschool to grade 6 did not use the LMS than those in grade 7 to 12.
As we found in the survey, that really a lot of it had to do with things that were not under the control necessarily of a child, and that they were, and as a result, the absences took place.
The news comes as students are preparing to sit national exams in May. As for final grade level exams, Education Director Marcellus Taylor revealed those exams will follow the national exams.
Now to the war in Ukraine. The Ukraine is warning this morning that Russia is ramping up efforts in the south and the east of the country as Russia seeks full control of Mariupol in what would be the first major city to fall. However, Russia's defense ministry is reporting over 1,000 soldiers from Ukraine's 36th Marine Brigade have surrendered in Mariupol and that the port is now fully under their control. We hear more in this report.
Russian state television is broadcasting pictures that it says shows dozens of Ukrainian soldiers surrendering in the besieged southern port city of Mariupol. Russia says more than 1,000 soldiers have laid down their arms. But Ukraine disputes that and insists resistance by its forces is continuing. The city's mayor has accused Russian forces of committing war crimes and disposing of victims' bodies while keeping the city sealed off.
Sadly, there are still over 100,000 people in Mariupol waiting for evacuation. There are also people in the outskirts who are packed and ready to leave. That's another 60,000 people.
Making conditions worse, no humanitarian corridors were able to open on Wednesday for people to escape the fighting and move to the relative safety of the west of the country. The Ukrainians accuse Russian forces of violating agreements that would keep the corridors safe, a claim Russia denies. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has accused the Russians of using phosphorus bombs
against residential areas and civilian infrastructure. The Russian army uses all types of artillery, all types of missiles, including phosphorus bombs and other ammunition banned under international law.
Zelensky also said tens of thousands of civilians have so far been killed by invading Russian forces. Russia has categorically denied committing any war crimes.
Meanwhile, the UN Secretary General is warning that as a result of Russia's war in Ukraine, the developing world is facing a perfect storm threatening to devastate many economies.
Disruptions in food and fuel supplies have pushed prices up, especially in Asia and Africa. More than 1.5 billion people worldwide are affected.
The war is supercharging a three-dimensional crisis: food, energy and finance, that is pummeling some of the world's most vulnerable people, countries and economies. And all this comes at a time when developing countries are already struggling with the slate of challenges not of their making.
So we're seeing the Secretary General, who has been warning about the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine and neighboring countries, expanding the scope of impact of this war by warning that half of their wheat supplies from Ukraine or Russia. They are particularly vulnerable to rising prices, and other countries are vulnerable because they have so much debt already that any increase in interest rates or inflation is likely to really set back their economies. And he's warning of this potential cycle of inflation and stagnation having a very devastating effect, particularly on those least developed countries, if attention is not paid to them now. And he, in his report, did offer some concrete steps that the IMF and the World Bank could take to help those countries in particular, and warning that if they don't, not only is the economic fallout likely to be severe, but it could lead to political and social unrest as well.
Let's take our eyes away now from what's happening over there in Ukraine to what's happening right here on the Thursday edition of Morning Barbados with Wendy Burke. Wendy, what's happening today?
Well, Shane, on this Thursday, which is our Youth Excellence Day, we're going to be going back to the Hill, back to class with the UWI Academy of Sports. We're going to be talking to the graduates of their master's program and find out exactly how they've been applying themselves to their communities. We're also going to be going into the ring for a bit of boxing. We'll get an update from the Barbados Boxing Federation about their plans, how COVID impacted the sport, and what they're doing to drive things forward. Details to these things and more ahead on Morning Report.
A lot of action coming up on Morning Barbados, and right here on the Morning Report, we'll go back focusing on what is happening with COVID-19. Yes, we've seen a spike in the numbers. We'll hear what the public advisor on COVID-19 has to say about it right here, up next after the break. The rising number of new COVID-19 cases here in Barbados is a source for concern for authorities. Yesterday's numbers, as recorded by the Best Dos Santos Public Health Lab, as you would have heard earlier, totaled about 389 cases. COVID-19 Public Advisor David Ellis says it's especially concerning with the relaxed protocols at present and the long Easter weekend which is approaching. He was speaking last night to our Lisa Broom on CBC Newsnight.
What we are seeing here is a movement in the numbers, which I believe there are a number of people who would say, well, it's not Delta, it's just Omicron. And some messages have been sent out there that I believe are helping to create the challenge that we will all face. This challenge may not necessarily be a large number of deaths, but there are deaths nonetheless. And I'm particularly concerned about it because what I sense is that sometimes you're getting a view that says these people could die. Well, if they had been shot in the street with the regularity that these elderly people are dying, it would have been a cause for concern. It's just a question of the circumstances and the comparison that is being made with Delta. But that apart, the disruption that can be caused by all of these numbers, disruption in school, disruption in the workplace. And for that reason, I'm here this evening to advise that this nation needs to be a little bit more cautious, especially over this weekend.
And as a result, Mr. Ellis is calling on everyone to be a bit more careful.
So the message is going out, a 4-day weekend coming up. Be responsible, act responsibly.
As best as you can, recognizing where these numbers are and where they can take us. Because in a sense, we haven't been here before. We have not been through COVID with the level of relaxation that we have today. And this will be a test for us.
Let's go to sporting news now. The West Indies all-rounder Odean Smith, he snapped up 4 wickets to lead his Punjab Kings to a 12-run victory over the Mumbai Indians in the Indian Premier League yesterday. Chasing a challenging 199 for victory, Mumbai were held to 186 for 9. Smith finished with figures of 4 for 30, while Kieron Pollard was run out for just 10 runs. Earlier sent in to bat, the Kings posted 198 for 5 of their 20 overs. Shikhar Dhawan led the way with a knock of 70. Here are the highlights.
Use this feet, wonderful, absolutely wonderful from Shikhar Dhawan.
Takes it on, big guys there, doesn't matter.
An innings like this, Mayank Agarwal, the slow delivery, picked it up early and goes mid-off, and that brings up his first 50. Goes over square leg, what an effort! That's up in the air. Is this going to be number 1? Yes, it is!
Dragged on, pretty sure that was dragged on. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We haven't seen that enough.
Pollard should take this. Yeah, those big mats. It's on the cut. Should be, could be. Oh, it's gone all the way. I thought it was going to be a catch. He goes full. And there's an air hostess on this one. Oh, it's a ripper. Kings will be very happy indeed with this.
So as a result, the Kings are in 3rd place on 6 points, while Mumbai are last without a point to their name after 5 matches. Wow. That's sports. Let's take a look at weather now. Things on the outside, the sun has risen earlier and has been doing that over the past few weeks. Things are pretty dry. No rain has been in the forecast for the past few days except for the passing shower. And we look at what is happening in a matter of moments. The temperature is about 24 degrees Celsius. That was what was registered this morning. The apparent temperature a bit warmer than that. As we get those stats coming up for you in a matter of moments. Okay, we do apologize for the absence of your usual weather forecast, and that's it for this edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. Up next is Wendy Burke with Mornin Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
And here's to a terrific Thursday morning to you, hoping that you will walk on the right side of your bed and everything's happy and you're ready to face the bank holidays coming up. Now, we are going to be joined this morning on Morning Barbados by starting out with sport. Yes, we're going back to Cave Hill to speak with Dr. Rudolph Allen, who's the head of the Academy of Sport at UWI Cave Hill, Anicia Wood, who is one of the graduates of the master's program, as well as Corey Graves. Now, Anicia Wood is different in that she has now returned and is actually helping to lecture in that said program as an assistant lecturer. And also a colleague, Mr. Corey Graves, who is a master's student and the sports editor at the Barbados Advocate. Good morning to you all. How's your Thursday going so far?
Good morning. You're having a good Thursday so far.
Well, that's awesome to know. Let's hope it'll get even better as we go along on this interview. Now, we're talking about the faculty. So, Rudolph, we've heard from you before in terms of what are some of the offerings, but I just want to find out from the students who've now come through that master's program whether it amounted to all that you thought it would be. And I'll throw to ladies first.
Well, good morning, Wendy. Thanks for having me. And definitely, you know, coming into the program, I came in as a mature student, and of course I had a lot of expectations, having been removed from the classroom 12, 13 years since I did my first degree, and knowing what I wanted to accomplish, you know, being a coach, being a sport administrator, and being able to develop, continue to develop to be better in those positions. And, you know, I came in with quite high expectations, knowing where exactly I wanted to improve. And I can definitely assure you that, and I'm not just saying that because I'm an assistant lecturer now, but I could definitely assure you that it definitely, my expectations were met for sure.
Okay, what about you, Corey? Were they met?
Good morning. Yes, I would say they were met. Being involved in sports for over 15 years in my field, I wanted to know the science behind some of the sports, because media practitioners in the sports field sometimes get a lot of stick. Oh, we don't know what we're talking about in terms of the sport itself. We just report on it. So I wanted to go a bit further. I wanted to see what the science behind sports was, what the different avenues that the athletes may go through, or the administrators as well. And in this program, we got not just the book work, we also got a practical side of it as well, which definitely lived up to what I wanted.
Okay, Dr. Aline, given Corey's background and Anicia's, is the master's program one that you would encourage those practitioners in the field to come on board and do, or do you just see it as a step up for those who have done the bachelor's?
Well, Wendy, it's one that I would encourage anyone to be part of. This program is extremely unique. It's a double degree program with the University of New Brunswick. So what does that mean? When you've completed this program, you'll get a diploma from the University of West Indies at Cato campus, and you'll get a diploma from the University of New Brunswick. So this is the only program across the university that's like this. So that's one thing that makes it extremely special. Additionally, you're going to get exposure to some of the experts in the fields like biomechanics and exercise physiology from the University of New Brunswick. So it gives you, as Corey said, it gives you not only the theoretical aspects of the sport, but you also get that practical application of those theories and how you can make sport better. So it's a fantastic program. I would encourage anyone, again, like our two colleagues from yesterday, you don't have to be a sports person or someone who's been in sport for a long time. As long as you're interested in sport and sport development, you can become part of this program.
Okay, if I can come back to you now, Anicia, how did you find the transition from student to assistant lecturer?
Well, I found the transition quite seamless. Prior to being an assistant lecturer at UE, I taught at BCC, and I also did a program called Agonar through the secondary school. So I have been accustomed to teaching students. The only difference, obviously, is the age range. So that transition, as I said, was quite smooth, and the fact that the knowledge from the master's degree was quite fresh. Having graduated in 2020, I was able to easily apply it to my teaching and my teaching methods and my methodology. So I would say the transition was quite smooth.
Was that your plan of action when you first took up doing the master's?
Not at all. Not at all, you know, and that is the beauty of the master's, I think. You know, my background but my undergraduate degree is in environmental studies. So, it's not to say that you have to have a degree in the sports sciences to then do your master's in sports sciences. And, I always thought I would be a coach or maybe an administrator, but then I saw the opportunity to actually apply for the master's, the assistant lecturer position. And I think I know the master's, it equipped me quite a bit where it is as much as it's only 1 year, I learned so much within that year from the theoretical side, as Corey mentioned, to the practical side. So it was easy for me to transfer those skills into my teaching application.
Corey, if you were trying to encourage other local sports journalists to do the program, what would you say to them? Because we know the hours can be grueling on the job.
Well, I already am encouraging other sports journalists to join the program. Yes, the hours are grueling. And the one thing about the masters is that it allows for evening work. It's not a full-time course in terms of having to go there from 8 until 3. They understand that master students are working adults and mostly working mature adults. And so it gives the evening courses so that you can go and do it. It also will give the sports journalists a better insight. We sometimes see the athlete running report on the athlete and what they've done in terms of their sport, but now we have a better insight of the hard work that goes on behind the scene, what is entailed in these things that they have to do, and not just reporting on the results.
Being a sports practitioner yourself, did you find that it helped you in terms of applying yourself when you're on the mat? Did it help?
Definitely. One thing I did do, because I am a karateka and I've represented Barbados at both the regional and international level, and I've medaled as well. What I did, especially when it comes to the mindfulness of it, is psychology. A lot of us are in the Caribbean focus so much on the physical side of sport that we forget that if the mind isn't there, then everything else shuts down. What happens if you have a migraine? We can't do anything. So just as you work the physical side, you have to work the mental side. And I helped some of my my athletes, in terms of those, my teammates, to come up in the mental side, applying some of those things I would have learned. And we went to the final. All of them did a medal, and they were so grateful. They said, I don't know what you did, but it definitely helped.
That's awesome, and let's hope that you keep helping and that those media colleagues decide to take it up. Now, Dr. Aline, I'm glad you mentioned the issue of the mental side of sport and the psychology, because there are often people who will say to you that we weren't beat out for skill, but we got beat out through the head. People got into our heads and offset us on whatever the field of play was, and that's why the loss came about. How is your program teaching not only the practicing athletes who come through the program, but the others who do it, how to keep others out of their headspace when they're participating in sport?
Well, a key element of the program is that there's a course in psychology, which is done by one of the lecturers out of the University of New Brunswick. He works with the Montreal Canadiens. He was also the sports psychologist for the West Indies team, so he has a wealth of knowledge. But apart from that one course, there's also a practicum period in the summer that you can go and work with teams and be attached with an association, and you can apply those skills. So you also have that practical side, that application of the skills that you've learned on the degree program, whether it's the mental skills, whether it's the exercise physiology, the biomechanics. So we allow a period for you to apply those skills. I'm glad you touched on mental skills, because that's something that we kind of fall short in the Caribbean on in many cases. And as Corey said, the same way how you're training the physical, you should be training the mental on a daily basis. And that's something that we preach on the program, because we see it as extremely important to athlete development in Barbados and the Caribbean.
Now, in terms of this practical side of it, how are you going to be managing with it? Other places are fully open. Barbados has opened up somewhat, but how are you going to ensure that those practical hours can be put in and put in effectively should we have some of the restrictions fall back into place?
Yeah. But last year, or I should say 2 years ago, for the first time, we had to find a way to do most of the stuff online. And even though it was a bit taxing, we were able to complete those hours online. Each student completes roughly 400 hours. And we were able to do that online through Zoom and other platforms where the students were able to work with the athletes, work with the administrators in the field. I remember one of the students we had was out of Montreal, and she did a whole revamping of the RADO website, and she worked with the head of RADO totally online during that period. So we were able to find avenues to still do the practical aspect of the degree program.
Anicia, now, what's your preference? The teaching of the older, more mature student, or the secondary school ones with whom you interacted before? What gives you that joy in terms of passing on your knowledge?
Well, I like working with youth in general, but I wouldn't say I have a preference in particularly. Once I could take a student, whatever age, from point A to point B, I think that I have achieved my job. Meeting them where they're at, and of course, trying to help them to reach their goals. That is it for me. That is, a true success in my opinion. So, as much as I enjoy working with youth, not only in teaching, but also in coaching, as I said, once I could take them to a point where, they weren't at before and help them to discover new goals, I am contented.
What do you think is one of the, or let's take the three top things, this is for both you and Corey, that you believe should be bolstered in our young athletes, quickly?
I mean, I could go on, but quickly, I would say definitely, the mental skills that Corey mentioned, communication skills, that is extremely important, knowing how to communicate with others. The beauty of the program, too, I think, is being able to go through all these different concepts and these different theories and being able to then explain these and take them from one, as I said, one area to another. Those communication skills work tremendously in sport, mental skills. And of course, I think just in general, lifelong skills that are learned through sport is very beneficial to any athlete, really.
Okay, Corey?
Well, I'm big on the mental skills for sure. I also coached karate as well. So I'm big on the mental skills. And one thing I will say as well is nutrition. In the Caribbean, we go so big on eating any and everything that we forget that nutrition is very vital and important to an athlete and fueling that system, that mechanism that gives them the performance that they need. So, and communication. Without communication, everything breaks down. I'm in communication. And if you can't communicate well, then how can someone help you? How can you say what is going wrong, what you need to tweak and get better at? So mental skills, communication, and nutrition.
Okay, I want to thank all three of you for joining me this morning on Morning Barbados. You're actually making me think about doing a master's in this program now. I'm sure you will have me, Dr. Aline.
Sure, I would.
Okay, I want to thank Dr. Rudolph Allen, head of the Academy of Sport, UWI Cave Hill, Anicia Wood, who's a graduate of the master's program and has gone on to become an assistant lecturer in the said program, and also Corey Graves, a master's student and sports editor at The Advocate. Here's wishing you a great morning, and do enjoy your bank holidays.
Thank you. Same to you.
When Morning Barbados returns, we'll be getting into the ring with the Barbados Boxing Association.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back. It's time to talk now to the Barbados Boxing Association. To join us this morning, we have members David Strawn and Darren Watson, as well as the General Secretary, Kathy Harper Hall. Good morning to you all. We're addressing the issue this morning of the state of amateur boxing in Barbados and the effect which COVID-19 has had on the sport. We're also going to be talking about their plans for the sport's revival in a post-pandemic Barbados. Now, I'll come straight to you, Ms. Harper Hall. This is a sport that you're synonymous with now. We see you, we hear you. How has everything impacted boxing in Barbados?
Well, boxing has been impacted negatively for almost 2 years. I don't think that the COVID-19 monitoring unit has been very kind to us as a sport. But then it is a reality that we are in a pandemic and we have to go by the rules. But our sport has really suffered. We have not been able to do very much. The boxers themselves have tried very hard to keep themselves fit. They have continued to do their individual strength and conditioning training, and they try to stay as fit as possible. But really, we have not been able to have any boxing, actually physical boxing, for the last 2 years. And we're really looking forward to it. But as we try to move into this, I think one of the things that we are really going to be trying to do is to set up a program that is going to try and attract some new people into the sport. And for this morning, I think one of the things we really want to focus on is this particular project that we really want to get off the ground to help to bring some of our boxers back and to get some new ones.
Okay, now when we're talking about bringing them back, David, how and why have they left, and how is the association gearing up at getting them back into the ring?
Hi, good morning, Wendy, again, and thanks for accommodating us this morning. Boxing has, as Kathy said, suffered tremendously, particularly in the last 2 years in this pandemic environment. Header to that, it has been one of the sports that has virtually been sidelined. And what we want to do is bring it back to.
Okay, it seems David has frozen there. Maybe Darren, perhaps you can pick up and tell us what it is we're looking to bring it back to. Darren? Okay, it seems that all the members of the ring are now, their gloves are down and not up at this point in time. Well, as we try to get them back, as they told you, they have been trying to gear up new membership for the sport. So if it's something that you might be interested in, you can reach out to the Barbados Boxing Association. They're online. You can give them a call and find out how you can become a member of their association and getting involved in this sport. They recently came back from tour, where there were some pluses in terms of their level of participation and developing their skills as boxers. If we can see now, if they're back, do we have either David and Kathy Harper Hall? She has been with the sport for many years. She's been with sport all around for a very, very long time as one of our leading sports administrators and coaches. I believe she was coaching when I was a wee little one, but she has been doing her part as the General Secretary to just bring all of the facets and elements of the sport back into the public's eye and back into their reach. I believe one of the things they were talking about as well was a more permanent home for boxing. There used to be a ring at the National Stadium. They've been talking about that. They've been talking about being able to get more meets together within the Caribbean to get our boxers out to all of these different events. So what we'll go to now is a video of one of our Beige to the World winners, a CBC-sponsored event which took place at Golden Square. Third place, Diane Jemmett. We showed you our first performance yesterday, and now we will show you the other.
We outside. Right now I just want this. Hey. Because right now I just want this. Hey, hey, hey. Because right now I just want this. Right now I just want this. I want this. I'm winding away. Feeling so nice. So nice. So nice. Sweat dripping on me. But it's alright. $20,000. Everybody watching me, wearing a million colors. Don't wanna talk the way I whine when I get in on your gun. All my fans they go, uptown we go, down south we go. You, I don't care what I say, because right now I just want myself. I don't really care. My boyfriend, girlfriend, family. I don't really care. This year I'm moving. Tell them honey, what's my name? I gon' take the blame. I gon' take the blame. You know what? Tell them call me name. I got this bicycle. Here one. Because right now I just want less. Right now I just want less. Right now I just want less. No, I just want this. Hey, I'm winding away, feeling so light, so nice, so nice. Sweat dripping on me, but it's alright. Alright, you know what? Alright, why am I here? I feel like I want $20,000. Everybody watching me, wearing a million colors. Don't wanna talk. When I get in on the dirt, all my fans they go, uptown we go, down south we go. You, I don't care what I say, because right now I just want less. I don't care how much you say I don't really care. This year right now, bring me down, bring me down, bring me. Put your hands in the air. Put your hands in the air. Anything in the air. Now, we going left and right. Left and right. I'm waving away. Feeling so light. So light. So light. Sun beating on me. But it's alright. 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 Well, I feel I want $20,000. Everybody wearing a million colors. Don't wanna talk the way I whine when I get in on your girl. All my friends they go uptown, down south we go. Now you, I don't care what you say, because right now I just want less. Right now and I feel like I win $20,000.
That's Diane Jemmett. She didn't win that $1 million, but she did win some money as third place winner. Diane Jemmett there doing her other performance, and you'll get to meet her next week along with the second place winner, as well in the show. So Beige to the World, one of the competitions that came up to highlight and showcase our Barbadian youth and their talents. So we'll be having them on next week. Well, we'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll tell you what else is happening on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Miss Barbados.
And we're back. On Morning Barbados this morning, we're going to be talking to a new company that's on island providing some critical services. It's Interro Integrity Services. And joining us here in the Pine is Mr. Peter Sturzing. Good morning, Mr. Sturzing, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, tell us exactly who is Interro and what you do.
Yeah, so Interro Integrity Services is a global company. It's been operating for 37 years. We like to think our global strategy is to have innovative inspection, environmental and industrial services to support the energy industry in its quest to optimize their asset space efficiently, use resources responsibly, and to operate safely where they operate. We have 4 regions across the globe. Europe is our largest region where our company originated. Then we also operate in the Middle East, in Asia, and of course why I'm here is in the Americas in the Western Hemisphere. We have 3 major service lines, as I mentioned. One is inspection services, where we basically are similar to in the medical industry, an MRI or a CAT scan. We go in and inspect and detect information about people's assets, operators' assets. Then we have our industrial services space, which is a lot of the support services around operating assets and managing them efficiently. And then our environmental services space to help with methane management, detection, and mitigation in this world that we have with climate change. And then we also, our customer base is pretty much any energy company that you see. Could be as small as a local distribution company. We also operate with all the major oil and gas companies and also national oil companies around the world.
And what's your client base like?
Yeah, so just that. So pretty much any company who operates in the energy industry. So you know, natural gas operators, local utility companies, distribution companies, you know, oil and gas operators, refiners, storage terminals, you know, anything that you see that touches the energy space, we're involved with.
And what has brought you to the Caribbean and in particular Barbados?
Yeah, so we see this as an underserved and developing market. We look at the Caribbean as having a strong asset base. Almost every island has terminals, offloading lines for crude oil refined products. Then of course you have all your utilities locally and the energy infrastructure on the islands. And then we see, you know, looking towards the Southern Caribbean into Latin America, it's a growing, evolving market space. We look at Barbados specifically as a gateway to the Caribbean. It's you know, it's fairly easy to get here, and then we can easily service the Caribbean. And as we grow in Latin America and South America, it's a perfect location for us.
Okay, and you're not looking at Guyana or Trinidad, which are also 2 industries which have a fairly wide oil and gas as well as industry as well.
No, we've kind of looked at the region, and we feel that Barbados is a great fit for us. You know, we know here it's helps us I guess reach out to the Northern Caribbean as well as into Latin America. It's a great starting point for us to come from our current operating bases in the Western Hemisphere, which are in Canada and in the United States. We look at the local industry here with, you know, there's good banking, there's a smart, educated workforce here to help support us as we grow. And we know that the Prime Minister here in Barbados is very, you know, a strong leader in global energy industry as well as, of course, here in the Caribbean. And we just see this as a good launching point for us here in Barbados.
Now, in terms of it setting up a strategic location for you, it also has to do with access to some of the other power companies and so on that are based here, like in Mira and so on.
Yeah, that's right. So there's a strong partnership among all the energy companies, all the utilities and oil and gas companies around here. There's a lot of, you know, energy moving around the Caribbean, and this is a great location for us to you know, engage in that and service that market, and to use our experience here in Barbados and then to leverage that into the rest of the Caribbean.
You also have some work going on, not in the utilities, not just utilities, but also the waste aspect. Are you going to be helping us with those services as well?
I'm sorry, I missed that last part of the question.
Waste. That's one of the areas that you cover as well.
In the waste industry, yeah, we can basically anything that has a pipeline or a space where we can inspect with our equipment. We can go in, storage tanks, water tanks. We've done inspections there as well. We have inspection technology to help manage assets and extend life for those assets. So instead of having to construct new assets, then we can help identify challenges operators have and help them mitigate that. And then we work with local partners. That's one of the big things we want to do is join with local partners here. So they support us when we're doing the inspections. When we're completed with the inspections, then they can help our operators, and we can work together to continue to extend the life of those assets. With valuable resources that we have and the difficulty it is to bring equipment and supplies to the island, it's a much better plan to help extend the assets that we do have here.
The presence of companies like Rubis and Sol have also impacted on your decision to be here, as well as the fact that your company, Intero, believes that the Southern Caribbean is seeing a lot of growth in terms of its oil and gas sector.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we definitely see this as underserved, and as those companies are continuing to expand and grow, and we see the new developments, we know for sure in Guyana and Trinidad Tobago, there's a huge opportunity for us, and we see Barbados' partnership with those countries. And then you look at the Rubis and the Sol that's out there, and our engagement with that. We do work with Sol's parent company already in North America, and that's easy for us to step right in and provide services for those companies.
Now, how do you see yourself, Intero, positioning itself within our market?
Yeah, I mean, what we look at here is this is a partnership opportunity for us. There's a lot of things that we can do. We want to continue to lead on the technology front and bring our technology to the space and serve the customer base. We also want to become a partner with local companies here and eventually start to grow local content. I mean, those are kind of the two big opportunities that we see. There's a lot of things that we do with our technology and our advancement and our development program. There's things that we can do with partners here locally that can support everything around the work that we do. And then looking at the potential educated labor force here is that we look at that as an opportunity to build a base of operations here with local content and to service the Caribbean market and to South America with that local staff and employees here.
Now, outside of the content management and so on, you also do a lot of advanced data management as well with your company, and also help with the management of projects through technology.
That's right. That's right. We have specific software and engineering support services that we can provide to our customers. We understand that there's gaps with different companies, and there's a spectrum of knowledge and experience, and we can bring our resources to bear with that. We have ways to help manage their integrity management programs. We have decades of experience in North America and in Europe on managing assets, and again, it's all about extending the life of the assets, and we can help work with our customers and our customer base on how to manage that with our software solutions, as well as the technology that provides them the baseline data and the additional data as they operate for the years to come.
Okay, now you're speaking to the clients that you'll be dealing with, but who are going to be some of your strategic partners now you're on the ground in Barbados?
Right. So obviously we're just starting this this path forward with partnerships. So hesitant to discuss any specific companies or names. We do believe in a strong public-private academia partnership program. So obviously we're talking to some good companies that have been in the Caribbean and been in Barbados for years, as well as academia and other partners. In general, what we're looking at is companies or individuals or academia who shares our values, shares our integrity. We look at them and they look at us, and we see each other in the mirror as far as our path forward. we see this as a growth opportunity. This is something that we don't want to just show up on a specific project. We've seen that happen with other companies in the past. Our intent is to build infrastructure here. We want to support the Caribbean. We want to support South America, and we look at Barbados as a gateway to do that.
Now, saying that you don't just want to turn up and do it means that whatever you devise will be fit for purpose in terms of whether it be oil and gas or technology.
That's right. That's right. I mean, we kind of pride ourselves in doing the things that other people think are impossible or difficult to do. So we look at the solution holistically with our customer. What's their problem? What's their final resolution? Where they want to be, and how can we manage the most efficient way for them to operate their assets and to do it safely and in an environmentally sound manner. So we want to partner with them. We want to be their resource when they have a question. They can call us, and we can fit the solution for what their specific boundaries are. We understand that resources are limited, and that's financial resources as well as other resources. So we want to fit within that boundary and look at their plan to continue operating their assets and help them and support them. We want to be here for years to come. We want to be a good neighbor in the community.
Okay, now I know you said you don't want to give out too much of where those partnerships are lying, but are they in all of the areas that we've mentioned before, or are there some that you're targeting at this specific time?
Well, if we look at our forward vision, right now we're just starting out. So there's a lot of things around when we start doing inspection work and specific project work. We need a lot of support services. So we're definitely looking at support services around what we do to collect data and information for our customers. So that's one specific area for someone to stand shoulder to shoulder with us and go out and help us with the projects that we look at. On the other side, on the academia front, for sure we're looking at potential candidates to help as we step into this region and step into the island here and bring in talent here as local content. I mean, for sure, eventually we would want to have people here to support those inspections. It's a lot better to support the Caribbean from inside the Caribbean than what we've traditionally done over the years, is flying European colleagues or even from Northern America into the Caribbean to support services. It's much easier to walk in there with the talent group that we have here on the island.
So that means that there's scope for talent development for some of our technologists and IT professionals, etc., on board with Intero services.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a significant number of positions available right now in North America and across the globe, and we're growing as a company. We see a significant growth trajectory for us, and if we look at that, it makes sense if we're growing in the Caribbean and South America that we look towards the Caribbean and South America to help fill some of those positions. And that's what we like to be: cutting edge technology, lead our service, lead our industry in the technology. We have a technology center based in Toronto as well as based in the Netherlands. And then we have obviously field operations in each location that we operate. And then, just in general, we want to grow the business, and it's much better to do that with local talent. And this is something we practice around the world, not just here in the Americas.
Now, whilst you're on island, where is Intero Integrity Services operating from?
I mean, right now we're just starting out in our initial discussion. So we've talked to all the types of industries that we discussed. We haven't picked out a specific home location yet here on Barbados. We have operated and serviced customers throughout the Caribbean in different locations, nearby, as well as we've had operating bases we have an operating base in South America, in Brazil, that supports our South American customers. We haven't quite gotten to that point here in the Caribbean. Again, it's underserved, and this is our first steps forward this year to start engaging in the market and servicing this, what we see as a developing and underserved market here.
Okay, whilst you're exploring the market and looking at what services you can provide for it, how have you been enjoying the island?
Yeah, it's not a bad place to come to work. I'll tell you that. So I haven't had as much time out in the beach and the sand and the surf, but I definitely like to to step my toes in that a few minutes each day at least, just to remind myself this is a nice place for sure. It's a beautiful island. Love the surf there. I think a lot of my colleagues are a bit jealous that we're down here, and it's definitely a much better winter location than for my taste. I'm more of a southern U.S. Person than in the north, where there's a lot of snow and cold and everything else. So it's a beautiful island for sure.
How large is the team that is on board now doing the exploratory discussions?
So there's 4 of us right now that we're having discussions, and again, it's across, as you look at any business. My global sales leader, Mick Collins, is here with me, as well as our local regional contact, TJ Jimenez, and we have our friend and colleague, Barry Myers, here from the local. He's a local rep that's helping us navigate and look at our expansion here.
Okay, well, welcome to the island, and here's hoping that these discussions go well and you'll soon be in partnership with a number of partners across all of the industries which you represent. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Peter Sturzing of Intero Integrity Services, for joining us on Morning Barbados this morning.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time and opportunity this morning.
Our pleasure. Well, that was Mr. Peter Sturzing of Intero Integrity Services. They're on island looking to see how they can help. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll let you know what's coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And we're back. Now, Morning Barbados, we won't be there tomorrow because it's going to be Good Friday. But while you all get to enjoy your day off, I shall be here at the CBC studios continuing to work, and so too will our crew. But there will be no show. However, there's a great lot for you to do this weekend. And one of the things on the agenda, on the social calendar, is the Oystons Festival. And this year, it's simply Oystons. Yes, you can go out, and we're beginning from tonight, Monday, Thursday. We're on the Seaside Lawn, which is opposite Massey Supermarket, a very excellent vista of the ocean. But you will be getting the mobile cinema there. So bring your blankets, bring your family, and come. From 6, that's right opposite the Massey Supermarket, and they will be having movie night with Disney's Cruella. Then on Saturday, the 16th, you can move over to the Bay Garden stage from 2 until 4 for the Barbados Food and Rum pop-up teaser. Yes, the BTMI will be doing that. Also on the 16th, in the Bay Garden, but a little later from 6 until 8. For those of you who want to come out a bit later, you can come out and enjoy the Mystery Basket Celebrity Cook-Off. We're going to be having DJ Ras, Sade Jemmett, Ishaka McNeil, and Rasante Parsons. Remember when we spoke about the Limb Association and Walk Proud, we did mention that Rasante is going to be there cooking. She's a quadruple amputee, so it will be interesting to see just how she chops it up in the kitchen. Also, there's going to be a fish cake eating competition. So if that's what you like, at 7 o'clock, you can be a part of that on the Bay Garden stage. Moving on from Saturday, we have Sunday, Easter Sunday. There will be a Simply Easter competition showcase. Cash prizes are going to be won for bonnets. So in order to be a part of it, you can email the oisonsfestival@gmail.com and register your little one to be part of that. The age groups are from 3 to 7 and then from 8 until 12 years old. That will be at 3 p.m. on Sunday, April 17th. So get in on those cash prizes. Come Sunday, also in the Oystons Boatyard, a little later at 4, go over and see that greasy pole competition. Some new rules apply because of COVID, but you can go on over and enjoy that greasy pole. There's a big prize there of $500 for the winner who gets to the top. Then there's going to be net throwing on Monday at 1. So join us by the seaside, come in your slippers, and watch those fishermen throw their nets. Let's see who gets it furthest. Fish boning competition, one of the popular competitions, will be on Easter Monday, the 18th of April, and that will also be in the Oystons Boatyard, and that's from 3 p.m. Then there's going to be some fun Olympics for you with an egg and spoon race. Some of us haven't done this since childhood. There's a prize of $300 if you can get that egg and spoon to the finish line without dropping. Dolphin skinning will also be in the mix on Monday from 4 in the Oystons Boatyard. And those are some great activities to see and to enjoy. Now, folks, this morning on Morning Barbados, we unfortunately experienced some technical challenges. And as a result of those challenges, we have to cut our show short this morning. Yes, we will be cutting our show short this morning. And remember, there's no show tomorrow. So we want to apologize to our guests who would have been waiting to come in, as well as to our viewers. So no show on Friday and no show on Monday, as these are both bank holidays. Again, we apologize for those difficulties, and we wish our viewing audience a warm and happy Easter. Enjoy it, whatever you do on the bank holidays, but remember to stay safe. I'm Wendy Burt.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.